Good evening. My name's Paul. My question is for you, Anastasia. I don't agree with everything the government that the Premier leads has done. I was telling a friend of mine who is a grazier in Western Queensland. He also happens to be the Mayor of Boulia, a gentleman by the name of Rick Britton, that I was coming here this evening.
Okay.
He raised with me the issue of vegetation management.
Yes.
Now, I did some research today, and it is unanimous amongst the Cattle Council, Ag Force, graziers, any commercial farmer in the state of Queensland, that any removal of the amendments that the Premier's government made in 2013, I think, would be a disaster. It would impose cost burdens, red tape burdens, for absolutely no environmental gain. You know, it was described in a rural paper as a policy that demonstrates the political foresight of a scrub turkey seeking green heat, i.e. you're trying to get green preferences in southeast Queensland at the expense of rural and regional Queensland. Why should someone west of the Divide involved in agriculture, or grazing, or local councils, because it affects them greatly too apparently?
Well, I just want to make a bit of a distinction here, because what we want to do is we want to bring back the legislation, but we want to work with farmers and property owners. We want to do this by working together, by getting people sitting around a table and working out what's in and what's out. And it's that high growth vegetation that we're looking at. So I'm more than happy to sit down, and what we've seen on the other side by this government is a government of division, of not sitting down and talking with people, rushing in, making their own decisions, sacking committees in the middle of the night.
Just sticking to the Labor policy, which is what the question is. Is there going to be an environmental gain from what you're suggesting?
I actually think this is a policy that we will work with everyone to come up with the right solution. So happy to sit down with everyone to make sure that it's done by consensus. If you want to make good policy, you need to talk to people, you need to understand their concerns.
Have you done that already, or has your team done that already?
We've already started to, David, and we've been doing that with all the policies we've been announcing. We've actually been talking to people. Sitting down around the table, like I said, with the nurse guarantee. We sat around with nurses from all around the state that came in and told me.
You won't necessarily go ahead with it, or is it?
No, with this one here, when we go to the policy stage, there will be full consultation. I want to lead a government of consensus. I want to bring people together. I want to sit down at the table, talk to them about the issues and come up with agreements. I don't want this divide and conquer mentality that we've seen over the last 3 years. This is not what Campbell Newman promised. Okay. The last 3 years there has been no humility, grace and dignity.
Just sticking on this policy though, are you saying there's a question mark over whether you'll do it or not?
No, we are going to bring in new laws, but we will be working with people to come up with the best outcomes.
Paul, thank you. I don't know, Premier, you want to briefly...
Look, you know, there's a whole lot of stuff in that. Firstly, I go back to a government that truly consults, listens to the people. We spent 18 months creating a plan called the Queensland Plan. 80,000 men and women, boys and girls helped us deliver that plan.
If we can just stick to this vegetation policy.
This is part of it, and it talks about how we'll build up the economy and create jobs. We also created specific plans for each of the 4 pillars: tourism, agriculture, construction and resources, and we consulted with everybody on those things. Now, when we brought the Queensland Plan into the Parliament, the opposition voted against it. So to all the men and women and the boys and girls who put so much energy
because
into
it was all about asset sales. Well, please tell the truth, Premier.
Well, I'll take the interruption and the interjection. I'll say this: there is nothing in the Queensland Plan about asset sales. And again, I invite people who haven't seen the Queensland Plan to go and have a look. It talks about how we will build our economy, how we will skill our kids up so they can get great jobs and have those opportunities.
Right,
it talks about how we will revolutionise the health system. And just going back to agriculture, our vision is to double food production in this state over the next 30 years. That's our vision, and we have a plan to achieve that and employ people. What they would do is take us back and actually destroy jobs in rural Queensland. That's what they would do.
Just a quick comment on Anastasia's reply. My understanding from Rick Britton...
Just in the microphone there, Paul.
Sorry. My understanding from Rick Britton is that consultation process was extensive in relation to the amendments that the Premier's government made. Ag Force, Cattle Council, graziers, the Western Queensland councils are very happy with the amendments. They work. There's no cost. Why would you go back?
Paul, I think you
We
made
will
the point.
sit down and we will talk with people.
Okay, thank you. Let's get another question.